Since May last year, government officers have been spending their late nights walking the streets with community groups to reach out to the homeless in Payoh and Kreta Ayer. Now, this team effort has seen 65 rough sleepers being engaged and about 30 moved off the streets. Lili Ying, who was invited to one of these regular night walks, has this exclusive.
In the dead of the night, it becomes clear that the homeless in Singapore are actually hidden in plain sight. Conditions on the streets are rough. The homeless sleep on grimy floors, some near piles of rubbish. But many have gotten used to this way of life, some preferring freedom over a welfare home. Many of the homeless are driven to the streets because of family conflicts. Now, some of them may have been allocated public rental flats, but they choose to leave because they cannot get along with their housemates. They also don't have much money or savings because they hold low-income jobs. Now, left with little choice, when night falls, they choose a secluded spot and hope to get some rest. I spoke to 54-year-old Brian Montero, who has befriended the homeless in the last 6 years after learning about their plight. Today, he is joined by government agencies offering more than just food and friendship. The homeless now receive more targeted and coordinated help, such as finance and housing. Through the collaboration called Partners Engaging and Empowering Rough Sleepers, or Peers Network, the agencies are relying on volunteers to get through to the homeless.
Some of them had negative experiences with the system. The first step of engaging, befriending, forming a connection with them and having them trust you is actually crucial to them getting help.
One homeless man said it's hard to be home because of his hoarding issues and that he not only needs psychiatric help but also a job. After some persuasion, he later turned up at a social service office seeking help. Since May last year, 17 people have moved into rental flats or returned home, while 11 are at interim housing.
So we have seen cases like that where they walk into the social service officers and officers are already ready to receive them because we've already gotten their details back in from the walk, like maybe from the night before or the weekend before.
More shelter options are now available for those in limbo. Some organizations have set aside part of their premises to offer them safe, sound sleeping places, or S3Ps. People can spend the night, but they will have to leave in the morning. 73-year-old Mr. Yo sought rest at one such shelter offered by New Hope Community Services. The cleaner had spent 20 years on the streets after his wife sold their flat when he was overseas. Mr. Yo was approached during one night walk in May and was told he was eligible for a rental flat. Mr. Montero is working with two churches which had opened up their premises to the homeless.
We noticed that after a few months, those who are continually nightly staying in the shelter and sleeping in the shelters, they began to put on weight. They began to think clearly. They began to converse normally.
MSF hopes more places can offer such temporary shelters. Being on the ground means that issues are surfaced faster. Now, during the walk, volunteers told me that homeless people are often targeted by criminals and robbed. As a result of that, they lose their ICs, which make it hard for them to apply for financial aid or housing. A replacement can cost up to $300, a sum they cannot afford. MSF has worked with the Immigration and Checkpoints Authority to issue temporary ICs or for fee waivers. Another pressing issue, healthcare.
Some of the skin issues as a result of living in unhygienic conditions could be eczema and skin issues that just can't go away unless you have proper medical help. Because you're in constant survival mode every day, health is the last thing on your mind.
Earlier in July, the group worked with Mount Alvernia Hospital to give the homeless free health checks. About 15 turned up.
Most of the patients that we saw were here for flu vaccinations, but of course there were those who had undiagnosed high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and all of them are undiagnosed because they they are fearful of going to seek medical attention because, I mean, going to a polyclinic is subsidized care, but the bills do add up.
Homeless Hearts is hoping to bring mobile clinics to rough sleepers in the future. While these efforts are underway, those who work with the homeless say more can be done.
Singaporeans do not want to see a homeless in their backyard. Most of these people are not bums or useless. Many are contributing to the economy. Many are trying.